welcome to a new kind of style video for me. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen I made a post, I think probably about a week and a bit ago now, about how to build a more robust lifter, athlete, kind of how I go about programming for injury prevention, GPP phase, or I like to think GPP is a year round, not just a phase. But anyway, we're going to get into it. If you've seen the Instagram video, then you will have seen the videos that will play. They just come to there to give some, visual feedback while you listen to me kind of waffle on about strength training. So, first point, managing your weekly SBD tonnage. My class but ignore the plane. Currently in Portugal, very warm weather camp. So managing your weekly SBD tonnage is big key for not just powerlifting or just managing your weekly tonnage in general. I kind of tend to think about it because obviously powerlifting is your sport, if you want to call it that, and you wouldn't do high intensity training for your sport 5 to 6 or 4 to 6 days a week, really, because you know that it would kind of cook you, for lack of a better term. So I believe, does not make absolutes here, I believe that you should treat your SBD the same. So your tonnage for squat, bench, deadlift weekly, over a period of a block, obviously things like peaking blocks, your tonnage will probably decrease, obviously just because your lower rep range is higher intensity as opposed to maybe being 20 odd weeks out from competition. You might have a slightly higher tonnage just due to overall volume around your training, etc. I tend to think managing your tonnage is the best thing you can do if you're a coach, or even if you coach yourself, obviously, because then you have data points that you can work off of. Say training's going well, and you go, right, so we don't really need to touch it. Say training's going bad, you're not progressing, block to block, things like that. You can then look at your tonnage and be like, right, have I pushed my bench or my deadlift here? Or maybe I just need to push my squat a bit more, and things like that. But obviously then again, like it says here, too much will wreck you, but obviously too little will stall you. If you don't have enough stimulus a week through tonnage and other data markers and things like that, then you won't make any progress. And that would probably be a bit more annoying for me than if I was, making progress maybe 1 or 2 weeks, if I wasn't making any progress at all. So I like to also take account accessory tonnage, not as much as main lift, because you can kind of alter accessory tonnage pretty easily through weight, reps, RP, whereas you can kind of change that weekly if you need to, whereas I don't tend to like changing top set rep ranges week to week through squat, bench, deadlift, just because I think the skill practice needs to be, obviously on the platform you do 1 rep, so at some point I like to plan singles for a block, even if we're not competing. Maybe if we're quite far out, I tend to do 3-2-1s on a squat, bench, deadlift, but that's just my kind of personal take on. But I think if you're doing dips and things like that on bench days, you should be mindful about how that's affecting your primary bench day, which you is the one you want, to move the best. But that's just kind of how I look at tonnage as a whole. Obviously tonnage is just your sets, reps and weight per session, all concocted together. Obviously if you're squatting twice, add both your total tonnages for the session together. That's your weekly tonnage for squats. Same with bench, if you're doing 3 times, deadlifts, whatever, Then just moving on, I think powerlifting training as a whole is very specific. Sport is lifting, so therefore you can be as specific as you want. If you're a younger lifter, say transitioning from big playing sport, tends to be in the UK, it tends to be rugby. and things like that, just because of the overall frame and size and general physicality of the athlete. Here we see Clem, my older client, more long-standing, unit. But I think if you're a sub-junior, junior, you could definitely be maxing out top set all the time. You can tend to do some straight sets, and maybe, like, I don't like SBD days in general, but I generally try and stay away from them for younger lifters, just because, you know, they see their favourite lifters doing SBD on Instagram and they're with all their mates. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against that. I like, you know, Big Friday, Big Saturday, Big Tuesday, whatever fucking day, all you and your mates can get together and lift heavy. Fun, brilliant, love that. But doing that as a structured training thing every week for younger lifters, I think is just kind of not a waste of time, but I think there could be better uses of training economy for them. I tend to like to build a base of athleticism and some coordination stuff, so they just don't become like a stiff kind of tight robot, because I think that can lead to more injuries later down the line when they start pushing weight, because they won't have the general foundation to be to excel at heavier weights if they've, you know, it's just kind of a thought process. So I think some sprinting, throwing and jumping for all athletes, not just powerlifters, whether it be field sports, contact sports, indoor netball, basketball, baseball, softball, anything of that nature, even, you know, like skiing, bobsleigh, whatever. Like, I think I tend to like to do, for powerlifters, I like to do some overhead med ball stuff, just get some nice extension in there. Also, it gives them like a goal, like if, say they did 5 meters week one, easy, you can then try and aim for 6 meters, and it kind of tricks them mentally into forcing the progress, because they know if they throw harder next week, then I'll get 7 meters and that's a PR and things like that. Same with sprinting. Like, I'm not advocating for powerlifters to go and dedicate a whole year or two to becoming sub 14 100 meter sprinters. Like, that's just not what I'm saying. But I think 1 to 2 exposures of top end velocity a week in an off season. No, let me preface that by I was saying off season, when you're not competing. If you are 16 weeks, say 12 weeks less out from competition, probably not going to be doing that. We're going to be focusing on peaking, etc. But I think if you're doing junior nats in the UK, which is November, January, I don't know, they move it every fucking year, so I couldn't tell you. If we're in July, you've competed, you're not really, maybe you didn't get a world spot or whatever, you know, we're not competing internationally then, and you don't have any plans to compete locally. Maybe you do, but we won't push it. Like, we can do some sprinting, we can do some throwing, we can get outside and we can do some jumps and stuff. You know, we can warm up with some broad jumps or some seated box jumps and things like that, just to develop power out of the hole at the bottom of the squat. And sorry, I just kicked the table I'm using to prop this up. Like on the deadlift, I like to tend to think of it as a jump. You know, you're applying all that pressure and force through the floor, same with the squat, getting out of the hole. If you can be more explosive and we can increase these metrics, like we can have a quick ground contact time, we can have a decent, you know, decent broad jump, and we can have a decent vertical jump, and we can have maybe some good, I'm not saying you've got to run 10 meters a second, but like if we can get a sub 1.4, 1.5, maybe slightly higher obviously for bigger lifters, this is weight class dependent, but if we can have a sub 2 10 meter, like it's from Excel, just standing 10 meter, I think we can be in a pretty good place to then take that, you know, that we've got the general base down, and then we can transition that. And then I still like to use box jumps and things like that, because you kind of have to be like, and get people say, oh, if you get a high box jump, you tuck your knees, things like that. But I'm never going to give guys like a 36 to 40 inch box jump if they do powerlifting. It'd be like a 24 to 30, right, maybe, but it'll be from seated, so we can transfer that power like we would as we hit the bottom of a squat and things like that. I think it also just helps with intensity and knowing how to push intent. You know, you have to be intentful to have a good overhead mental throw, a broad jump, or, you know, whatever. And I personally like to build a broader kind of foundation of training first. Then also we see my goat, just getting some pogos in. If you don't know, can't dunk, sadly. It's not my problem. He just no bounce. I like power training for all my athletes, just not just ones that do field sports or basketball or whatever, because I like the tendon benefits you can get from being explosive and springy and fast twitch and things like that. I think by doing plyometrics as warm-ups or in non-specific phases of training, that I just think it's nice to have athletes show that the strength they build can be transferred into other things other than if you squat 240, 250, right? It's nice to be able to see that I can squat 250, I can jump, I don't know, say 23 inches, right? Or I've got a 3 meter, but if you've got a 3 meter broad jump, then fair play. But I've got a 2.5 meter broad jump, or whatever. They can see that the strength they're building, they can then express that strength in other ways. And I think just mentally for them, it takes it away from lifting and things like that, and they can just kind of focus on a different aspect of lifting or movement and things like that. But I think a more powerful athlete tends to be a stronger one. If you look at some of the strongest non-barbell sport athletes, you look at rugby players, NFL players, especially NFL players. NFL players for me, or Division 1, anyone, if you played a high level of American football, I think you are arguably a very athletic human, and whatever endeavour you intend to do, powerlifting, weightlifting, whatever, you're probably going to be pretty good at it. Take Colby Ferguson, for example, is the most recent one. Probably could have played Division 1 football. Obviously, I don't know what happened for him, but high-level running back. We've been weightlifting, 3-4 years now? One of the best up-and-coming weightlifters America's got, and I think being explosive and powerful just helps. If you can just have bar velocity just as it gets heavy, it doesn't matter. The bar's just moving. I think you have more capacity to add strength, because when it starts to slow down, you're still pushing for maximum intent through the bar. But that's just kind of how I view speed and power training for a powerlifter, so to speak. If you are an athlete, I think speed and power year round, it doesn't matter. In season we're still going to jump, off season we're going to sprint and jump. In season we're still going to sprint, just maybe shorter distances, maybe not as reaching as max velocity and things like that. But I think if you do anything, even as a warm-up, just do some broad jumps or do some pogos or do some squat jump, mate, chuck 40 on the bar, just chuck a 10 each side and do 2-3 sets of 5 on some squat jumps. It will help you a lot more than you think with some power out of the bottom of your squat. Building work through larger ranges of motion. In the picture here you can see Owen, just going to flex this a little bit for him, 6'5", 6'6", don't know, he can quote me on that. Probably just over 100 kg here, so he said about 200, 105 I reckon. Just chadding the fuck out of 145, full range of motion. Obviously I take no credit for the ankle mobility, that was all him, he's chosen to work on it himself. But I think with powerlifting, obviously within the rules, and I think it's totally acceptable to milk this as much as you can, obviously with the new IPF rules, etc. But it's about lifting the most weight possible at the end of the day. So reducing ROM is going to help you, big arch, low bar, just below parallel. Deadlift, you can't really reduce the range of motion, maybe with sumo, but I still think it's a technical enough lift that if people say sumo cheating, they just try sumo for 3 blocks and see if you improve. You probably can't, because your hips are dog shit and you can't get into the correct positions. However, again, building strength through big range of motion, I think, again, tendons, joints, just muscle fibre as well. If you're taking a dumbbell, I like a slightly neutralised dumbbell, flat bench incline. We're not here, we're kind of here, and we bring it all the way to the chest, maybe even past the chest if you can. Bring the dumbbells out slightly, get past the chest, really get the stretch, and then not some Dr. Mike shit. We're not trying to do that, but and then you give it a little pause and you explode up. Same with lat pull down, we're pulling it all the way to the chest. Same with any form of row, we're getting as much stretch as we can. Same with a back extension, we're going all the way down, we're not just, we're full, hinge. Same with an RDL, maybe add a reach in at the RDL just to get a bit more strain on the hammies, things like that. Squatting like this, you probably can't, I'm going to be honest. He's got very good mobility in the lower body and upper body Owen here, because he's just a giga chad. But again, using something like a leg press, full range of motion, leg press, hack squat, if you've got a pendulum squat, even better. Love the pendulum squat. Arguably one of the best lower body machines I think there is for developing just large range of motion squat ability, but obviously not many gyms have them, which is a shame. But again, the strain it puts on the tendon joints and the knee joints and all that, I just think it helps to bulletproof them a bit more, not to go all full ATG on it. But then again, if you're pushing heavy weight for a large range of motion, say we've got a 50 in each hand on the dumbbell press, we're bringing it all the way down here, giving it a pause and boom, it's just flying off the chest. When you then come to your comp specific bench, you've got the arch set and you're only coming to 90 degrees with the new IPF rules or whatever, right? And you're coming here, how much more powerful do you think that's going to make your chest? I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, I generally think if you could ATG, full artergrass, 250, I reckon, if you did powerlifting, you come at low bar it. I'm talking high bar, by the way, no one's low bar in ATG, that's just cringe. High bar ATG, just some good full range of motion. I think by the time you whack your extra small rigor mortis on, tighten that SBD level as much as you can, chuck it low bar, just below parallel, I generally think you'd probably add 10, 20 kilos on squat. That's just me personally, that's just a thought, and there's no evidence to back that up. But I think training large ranges of motion to begin with, and then slowly shortening the range when you get more specific, can help athletes just, I think, feel more powerful. I've noticed it with my athletes, they tend to say their dumbbell, I just keep using the dumbbell because it's the easiest one to get full range of motion on. You can just pull that shit right in here and just fucking yam it off your chest. I just think it's the easiest one to explain. It helps you to build power off the chest, and I know that sounds like some West Side barbell quick lifting shit, but it genuinely does. I found it generally does help. Same with, maybe we do some push-ups, or weighted push-ups a lot. Same with tricep extensions. Maybe we're getting a full stretch, we're going to hold it at the bottom for a bit and then come back up. Same with bicep curls, we're going to go all, we're going to go, not just go here, we're going to go all the way down and bring it all the way back up. That's why I like incline curls and things like that. Just for, building that strength through the biggest range of motion your body allows you to, essentially. Then, leading off the back of that, as we watch Owen do some nice leg presses here, get jacked. Just get as jacked as you can. We're obviously all trying to get to that goal. Some of us more than others, do you know what I mean? But if you want to lift big, I tend to believe that you have to have big muscles. This is for your weight class. I'm not saying you've got to look like Brian Shaw or Eddie Hall with a big ugly beer six-pack thing going on, right? But if you're 74, don't be a skinny fucking 74. Be built like Renzo, and all the guys that look like Austin Perkins. He ain't small. He's small, don't get me wrong, but he ain't small. He's jacked as fuck. That's what you got. You got double D's out here, right? It shouldn't just be an 8-week block. It shouldn't just be, we're going to spend 4 to 8 weeks doing hypertrophy. Do it year round, man. Who are you You're not going to get fucking jacked doing it for 8 weeks. Say you do it twice a week, what's that, 16 sessions of upper body hypertrophy? You ain't getting the huzz with 16 sessions of upper body hypertrophy. But I'll do dumbbell lateral raises and I'll do bicep curls and try. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you want to get jacked, you've got to do it year round. Look at your favourite lifter. Take a look. Go on their Instagram right now, take a look. Russell Walkie, Nonso, Renzo, even some of the bigger 120, Jesus Oliveira, if he didn't weigh 180 kilograms, jacked as fuck. Look at Shane Hunt, look at all the untested guys like Derek, Thistlethwaite, I said Shane Hunt, Colton, all them lot, jacked as fuck. Because high level strength athletes know that if you tend to have big muscle, probably pretty strong. So don't skip your accessories, basically, is what this is leading to. Because if you do, yeah, my bench is good. No one cares how much you bench if you've got an inverted chest. No one cares how much you squat if your quads are small. Just putting it out there. No one cares how much you deadlift. There's not really a muscle for the deadlift, but if you like got a good big posterior, I think posterior is like the main one for the deadlift I like to bring up a lot. If you've got some big erectors and some chunky glutes, you're probably pulling pretty big, do you know what I mean? But before we get too carried away here, it's not how much you lift. At the end of the day, it's how you lift it. What's the intent behind it? You know, it's not just I can squat 300 kilos, that's great, and it's a grind or whatever, and I feel a bit groggy after it, and I was like, oh, it's just 300. No, get fucking hyped for your session, right? Every rep, just purpose and focus, and don't go through the motions, because if you want to be good at something, you can't just go through the motions. We'll take Raf here again. No, he doesn't. He attacks what he wants to be better at. I've watched him sit there, shoot 100, maybe not 100, might have made that up. He's shot threes and free throws, and he's done it all, and he's asking, what can I do to get better? Even in the gym, can I stretch? Can I do this? Be intentional. He wants to get better. You want to get better. If you're watching this video, you want to get better, right? When you're trying to chase big numbers and big things like that, pretty sure this was got it, right? The same with all the lads. Like, when you're trying to chase big numbers, you can't be a little bitch. You can't be timid under bar. You can't go under 272.5 kg, 600 solid ass pounds, and go, oh, I might fail. You know you can't, because then you will fail, and you'll be a bitch, and everyone in the gym will hate you because you've taken all the 20s or 25s to do your big heavy squat. They can't do anything, and now I've got to watch you fail. You've got to unrack it all because you're a dickhead, right? So put some fucking intent in the bar, put some fucking intent in your training, and you'll probably make a bit better than you already are. No point doing, I've got 3 sets of 12 incline dumbbell bench. Grab the 50s, buddy, and push the fuck out of them. How about that, huh? Anyway, sorry. Didn't have a video for this. Than I am, so go look at some of his stuff. But it's not always about just pushing chest, back and quads, you know, and some hamstrings for your deadlift. I'll do back extensions and hamstring curls. That's not helping you, buddy. Get your upper back working. That's the biggest one for me, is rear delt, upper back, calves, and core and lower back. I kind of group them in as one. We call it trunk. I like to call it the trunk, you know. So we'll start easy, upper back. Rows, T-bar, chest supported, right, chest supported. Really let your chest sink into the bar, just yank it. We kind of want to go here for the upper back. Sometimes I like here on the T-bar. If your T-bar's got this, it's good. T-bar's got this, it's good. If you've got that weird T-bar where it's got kind of the, do what you want. Same with face pulls. Love face pulls on the lat pull down. Don't knock it before you try it, right? Get your rope, lat pull down, really set your back. Ugh. If you can't do that, banded. If you can't do that, then do rear delt flies with your mum's handbag. Don't really know what to say to you. Lean that bitch over, just fuck it. Ugh. They're going to help you a lot more than upper back in the bench press and squat is very underrated. You definitely have an underdeveloped upper back if you are watching this. Same with traps. Upper trap here, do some trucks, mate. Just do some trucks. You know what I mean? Because no one's ever going to take the piss out of you for having fucking huge traps. You're going to get steroid allegations. And that's what you want, unless you're on steroids and you don't look like you are, then you're retarded, right? But upper back, the traps kind of the same. We'll move on to rear delts, again face pulls, like the best one that I find, just 2-3 times a week. Same with upper back, 2-3 times a week. I'd like to do it on squat days, just to really drive home the emphasis that this is an accessory to help your squat. So you can drive that fucking meaty upper back into the bar and just fucking just that bar ain't going anywhere. Especially if you squat low bar and you've got small rear delts and small upper back. And you go, oh, well, I don't want to tilt forward so much in your squat. Maybe it's because you're 6'2" and you've got legs of a giraffe. Maybe because you're 5'6" and you've got a weak as piss upper back. Now we move on to the calves. We'll go calves. Easy, seated, standing, bosh. Do it. Your ankles will thank you for it. Spend some time in that deep range of motion machine. Fucking just stretch it down and push it right back up. 15 to 20 standard. You don't get to push it. Two free sets. All I like to do, seated before squat, just get the ankles, because I've got bad ankle mobility. Terrible, in fact. Then lower back, core, trunk, dynamic, trunk control. If you're that guy from Garage Strength, love that guy. Fix it. Get your erectors fucking jacked, mate. No one's ever had a big deadlift and had a small back. But no. So do your upper back, don't just do your lats. Like a lat spread, that's great, mate. Can you deadlift 300 kilos? Absolutely not. So, lower back, 45 degree back extension, my personal favourite, because my gym doesn't have a GHD. So, kind of all I've got really. But if your gym does have a GHD, and you are one of my clients, you will hate me. As John and Tavo and Zach and a few other people know. You're going to hate me, because you're going to do sit-ups on it, and you're going to do back extensions on it, and you're going to load them up, because I told you to do it, and you're a good boy. No, in all seriousness, 45 GHD. If you ain't got either of that, go find a better gym, or put a foam pad, put the barbell hip height on the rack, foam pad over it so it doesn't hurt your ghoulies. Same thing, hold a plate, just fucking get it. On the way up, squeeze your button cheeks together. Squeeze them. Like someone's trying to stick their finger up there and you don't want them to, and this is the first day in prison. Right? Just put it out there. That's how I like to think about it. Squeeze them up and bring yourself up. Let it bring yourself up to the point where obviously it doesn't, and then you can then assist with the lower back. This is how you get better lower back gains, how you stop complaining about your bracing. The same thing. Core GHD sit-ups, machine side bends, Smith machine side bends. If you don't have a Smith machine, that's free, because there's people doing incline fucking chest press and hip thrust on it. Kettlebell, barbell, up to you. What else do I like? Weighted planks, weighted side planks. Add some weight to it. Don't just go, 30 seconds, 4 sets of 30 seconds. 4 sets of 30 seconds, 50 kilos on your back. Try doing that. You can't, because you've got a weakest piss core, because all you've been doing is body weight. Decline sit-ups, like them, weighted again. Progress everything, everything's progressive, you know. You can't just be doing fucking bodyweight sit-ups and expecting to squat 320. You're not going to happen. Do you know why? Because your core can't hack it, and your spine can't hack it, because you've not been doing your lower back extensions. That's kind of it for me. I think small muscles again, so upper back, rear delts, core, lower back, calves. Calves, not that important, but if you've got some dodgy ankles, I tend to like to say do 2-3 sets before you squat. Just because no one's using it. No one's using the seated calf raise machine in your gym, let's be honest. Because I know you're not. And I know I'm not even. So go get on that 2-3 sets, just 15, trying to get the blood flowing in the back of the calf, do you know what I mean? Because it's not bad to have big calves. You might have to buy new socks, and your knee sleeves might not fit. But apart from that, people will think you actually train them, which is good. Then upper back, trappy area, do some shrugs, why not? Help you grip a little bit. Forearms was another one. If you genuinely actually cared about training your forearms, kind of cool. If you do grip sports, cringe. Right? Do some of the Sam Sulek fucking, some of these. Do some farmers carries if you really want to. If your grip is struggling on deadlift, simply just get better. No, I'm joking. I tend to prescribe long holds at the top of a top set. So if you've got top set 3, you're holding the bar on after the 3rd rep for 5 to 10 seconds. Anywhere between that, I don't really think I'd go any more than that. Same on back offs. I will make you hold the 1st and last rep, because you have tiny little baby hands. Not my problem. It's your parents. Right? Then lower back core, I just think taking your shirt off, just erectors out the fucking wazoo, just good. Big glutes as well, going to help if you're a woman, especially. But that motion, that just pure hinge of a fucking 45-degree back extension or a GHD, just fucking get everything working, right? Then again, maybe train your lateral delts, maybe train some front delts. Bit of overhead press ain't ever hurt nobody. Get on the fucking Smith machine that someone else is trying to use for their side bends and just get it overhead, because it's going to make your shoulders feel nicer. You won't know it yet. It's also kind of fun to ego lift shoulder press, because no matter how many reps you do, people don't really know, because no one gives a shit about shoulder press unless they do strongman, and then that's cringe. 2-3 sets, light as fuck, 20 kg, just 15 reps, get the blood in there, do you know what I mean? Because you've probably got small shoulders like me, because I don't train them anymore, because I don't play rugby, because it's boring. So yeah, lower back, get the fattest lower back pump after your lower body days. Just saying, a bit of fun, try it out. And that's kind of it from me. That is the end. Waterwind Performance Coaching, that's me. Online coaching, physio consultation. If you live close enough to me, anywhere in and around Kent or London, I can come and do a one-on-one consultation. We can do some sports massaging and things of that nature. I promise it's all professional around here. Waterwind Performance on Instagram, coaching page, 200 kg total if you want to see what I'm up to. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Trying to do some more longer form content, because I can talk about training for a while, because I'm pretty autistic when it comes to the gym. Love a bit of program hopping me. There's always a better way to do something. That's not true. Stick to your program, and I will see you